Thank you for tuning in for another video review. And right now we have the NECA AVP Temple Guard Predator from the movie Alien vs. Predator. So NECA has been releasing these AVP characters and Predators the last two waves now. This is the second one we have. I'm not quite sure if we're going to have any more Predators or characters at all from the movie. I think these were from the first AVP, the 6 figures that we have, or well, you know, 5 character Predators were the only Predators we had. I've heard talks of NECA coming back with a Wolf Predator 2.0, or we know however many they are on now from AVP 2. But you know, I'm super happy, as I said in the Ancient review, that that we do get these flashback Predators that I don't think Hot Toys, as I said also before, if you want to comment just to correct me, but I don't think Hot Toys has made both these Predators. I think they only made either the Temple or the Ancient. I'm just not remembering which one, but either way, I'm happy that NECA has given us both. So taking a closer look at the packaging, we have the Temple Guard name at the top right with the mask at the top left. We do see a subtle, or actually an immediate difference with the mask itself, especially with the colors. This is more of a brownish bronze helmet, as well as the, I guess, the chest plate right there that you can see in the front. Overall, the rest of the armor is pretty much identical. And again, we see the weapons and whatnot, and the headshot there with the AVP logo. And at the bottom again, it says over 30 points of articulation, including a shuriken, sword, spear, backpack, cannon, and skulls. So let's get a quick look at the back, which is the exact same you know, background as the rest. We have a shot of all 3 Predators together. We have a bio that if you want to read, go ahead and let me focus that to pause it real quick. And then we get a shot of the Predator itself right there, of the figure itself, I should say. So that's all for the packaging. Let's get this guy open up and have a closer look at the figure. Here we have Temple Guard out of his packaging, and really the most unique, or I guess standout part for me, is the helmet itself. Overall, the rest of the Predator isn't anything too special. I want to say his armor kind of resembles that of Chopper's, especially with the bottom wrist blades, if you want to call it. But overall, this Predator isn't anything too different. Again, like I said in the previous AVP Predator reviews as well, they are basically identical to one another, except again the armor is a little bit different in here and there, and the helmet might be different, and just the display of the weapons, i.e. these bottom wrist blades and whatnot. But I'm still super happy to have this guy, and let's get a closer look at this figure. So taking a look at everything, you do have a more of a I guess bronze or copper tone to the armor overall, which I don't think any of the other AVP Predators actually have that. Even the Ancient Predator that will be coming up in the next review, but for some reason Temple Guard has the actual, you know, the copperish brown bronze hue, if you want to call it, around especially at the top of the helmet. We have a little bit here in the shading in the chest plate, and then down in the waist armor, if you want to call it, and then just different angles on the wrist we do see as well. But overall, it's a really cool uniqueness and really cool design that is kind of different than the typical AVP Predators that, you know, we have been seeing, as opposed to just the straight up copper, or the straight up chrome, I should say, and silver gunmetal, as we do see in the shins and leg area. So taking a look at the accessories real quick, as we've been seeing, they all have basically the same accessories, which, you know, I don't take out because it is just so many. With this Temple Guard, we do have the disc blade again. We have the multiple levels or multiple lengths of the wrist blade as well, which I'm not too sure. Actually, yeah, I did have the shortest ones on the wrist blade, the top wrist gauntlet, and the, I guess, medium ones on the bottom wrist gauntlet. The one problem I've been seeing with the wrist blades and whatnot is that the ends that you do plug into the slots aren't always the accurate size. Like either they're too thick or too thin, they won't stay. So I'm not sure if they are dedicated to one slot over the other, but you know, no big deal for me. I do have a nice design going there. And then we do have the collapse spear as well that comes in here. And behind here we do have a bunch of bones. Let me get those out real quick just to do a quick look at. I'm not sure where exactly these are all supposed to go, and I don't really want to have these on as well, or either I should say, because they are so small and I just know they're gonna fall off. I don't really know where they're supposed to go anyway. I'll have to take a look at the photos and galleries that NECA has or other reviewers have put, but these are just ridiculously small. Like, I'm sorry, they're just so small. I don't really see the point in them at all. I'm sure they are highly movie accurate, but as we saw with the Bad Blood Predator, I believe it was, the set of two skulls and whatnot, they just they tend to snap and they don't really hold in very well. So I don't really want to bother with these either. But no big deal. They wouldn't add too much. We already have the skull necklace going across his chest right there. Let me get that back in focus. But yeah, and the other accessories, like I said, we have the wrist blades, the two at the bottom and the two at the top here. We have the extended spear and then the plasma cannon and backpack over there. So let's get a quick look at the articulation. The arms, as usual, they have the full rotation. If I can get this guy back in his normal stance, and I don't know what I just did to him. There we go. It is kind of stiff. They aren't being very consistent with the looseness or stiffness of the joints this time. Sometimes we'll have Predators where every joint is stiff and every joint is loose. But here it's just a nice mix. Like you saw, the waist just kind of falls over. But you just have to play around with it and do be careful. But the arms, we do have the same articulation. We have double jointed elbows that do twist as well at the bicep and at the elbow. If I can get that twisting, or no, maybe not. Yeah, actually it's more at the wrist for this guy, and the wrists do pivot as well. We do have the upper chest and the waist swivel as well. The head does not, move too much because of the backpack, as we tend to see. The thighs do go back and forth, in and out, and do they twist? I don't think these, oh yeah, they do kind of twist, but I know with the Scar, there's an actual joint right here that lets you twist at the thigh. We have double jointed knees that do twist as well, and then the pivot and swivel on the ankles. So plenty of articulation all around. Taking a look at the back real quick, we do have a nice view of all the accessories and weapons and the backpack as well. And like I've always said, I absolutely love the design and attention to detail that goes into all the Predator craftsmanship. As you can see, all the different designs and textures all around. It's just absolutely incredible what NECA is able to accomplish in such a small figure. And then getting a look at the backpack, we do have that bronze hue, if you want to say, or the bronze shading that goes through kind of in the cannon right here. And the cannon is the medium-sized cannon that, each Predator kind of has their own forte to what size cannon they want. The wrist gauntlet here opens up. Oh, if I can get that into view. There we go. It does open up, and it is pretty stiff with more of the bronze and copper. And like I said, in some light, I'm not sure if the camera will catch it, but in person, some light you'll see more of the bronze and copper, and in other light you won't really see it too much. And this guy doesn't really have too much of armor, all around his body either. So we do have a lot of the skin or the Predator body exposed as well. And I'm not going to remove the spear because this was such a pain to get into his arm or get into his hand. And for some reason, this guy is just not working with me today. I don't know what the deal is. I think the shoulder is being a little pain, but yeah, there we go. So let me just get that into a nice position. But yeah, it's extremely hard to get that spear in, especially with how fragile the spear actually is. I did, use a hairdryer to loosen up the palm or the hand grip to open it up and, kind of fixate the spear into it. But it's just such a fragile piece. I thought I knocked it over at one point and it was bending the spear, but luckily it wasn't. But it's just such a fragile piece. Do be careful with that. But it's an absolutely amazing piece with the copper handles and the silver blades and everything, and it is kind of sharp, so do be careful with that at the end. You probably will break it if you try to stab yourself or test it out, but you know, do be careful with that. And like I said, I do have the shortest blades right here, just at the ready position, and then the medium-sized blades at the bottom hilt right there. And again, I have the Predator spear, or the Predator blade I should say, in his leg holster. And here's a nice angle and view of the helmet itself. And that is about it for this guy. So, you know, as we've been seeing with a lot of the Predators, there isn't, you know, too much variation with everything. We do have, again, the pipes I forgot to mention, and the plasma cannon is all basically the same. I kind of have this guy just in his ready position, as we see in the film when all the Xenos are, you know, getting ready to climb the temple. And the balancing isn't too bad on this guy. The top heavy just kind of comes from the backpack, but you know, do be careful with that. If you have the NECA stands, those help a lot. And that is about it for this video review. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to all my pages. And thank you again for watching, and stay tuned for my next video review.